Well, hello. How y'all doing today? So, I got a question and I want to answer it for a subscriber. And the question was um how being with the narcissist affect your parenting as a mom. And I will say flat out point blank period, the narcissist was jealous of my son. And I say they were jealous of, because it was two of them that really like were jealous of my son. They were literally wanted me to change how I loved on my son, because that was foreign to them. That wasn't the way they grew up, and so they thought it was weird that me and my son hug and we tell each other we love each other every single day. They come and give me a kiss before I go to work, or anytime I get ready to leave the house. My kids acknowledge me and make sure that they love on me before I walk out that door. The narcissist didn't grow up like that, so I can get why it seems foreign to them. But don't come try to make me change how I raise my kid when we were already this way before you came into the relationship. So, excuse me. The narcissist was jealous. So, I got a couple of examples. So, the first example was the first narcissist that I ever had an issue with when it came to parenting was the crackhead. He told me my son was too old for me. My son was 11, 10, and 12. Me and him stayed together till my son was 13. 12, either 12 or 13. But either way, he told me my son was too big for me to be giving him hugs and kisses every single day. And I'm like, no, it's not. No, he's not. He's not too old or too young for me to show him love and affection. You crazy. He was like, you need to stop giving him hugs and kisses because that's nasty and that's weird. That's like some incest stuff. And I'm like, what? I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, your mom never gave you hugs and kisses and stuff? He's like, my mama didn't hug and kiss us like that. That's weird. Why do you do that? I said, hold on. First of all, let me clear it up for y'all. Me and my son don't kiss on the mouth. So how is it weird? He kissed me on my cheek, I kissed him on his cheek, or on the forehead. We don't kiss on the lips. So that would be considered weird because that's not what me and him do. But I'm not knocking people who do, because there is some families who kiss their kids in the mouth, and that ain't nothing wrong with that. That's how you raised your kids. That is cool. That is fine and dandy. I don't kiss my son like that. I kiss him on the forehead, the cheek, or whatever. So the narcissist is trying to make me feel like how I'm operating with my son is weird or not in an appropriate way for a mother to operate with her son. And I'm just like, fool, you crazy. So no, I did not stop kissing my son, stop telling my son that I love him. I always done that. I didn't change that up. But it was a time with the crackhead that I, you know what I'm saying, was so deep into the relationship that we gonna be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? It was not my intentions, but that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? So my son was the one who got that relationship out in the open. Like, things were not good in that relationship. My son was the one who was speaking out on those things. He was talking to people, telling people what was going on, and like, he was scared. I didn't know he was scared like that, but I knew it was not a healthy situation for my son to be in. But me, lost in the sauce all at the same time, I'm struggling between the love that I have for this man, the love I have for my son, and I want them both, but I know I can't have both. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in a tight spot. But at this time, I'm not thinking about leaving the crackhead. I have left the crackhead at this point a couple of times, but it wasn't successful. He would always hawk me down or find out where I'm at, or I just end up telling him where I'm at, because the pressure that he would put on me would be too much, and I would break. You know what I'm saying? Because I hadn't experienced anything like that before. So I was kind of scared, but not scared all at the same time, because it's different scaries. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I wasn't never scared to fight him, but I was scared that the things that he already done to me, and when he said he would do it, he would actually do it. I just didn't know whether he would do it or not. And so I just didn't play with it, you know what I'm saying? Because he's already showed me that he could get stupid and crazy. And so I ain't finna push this crazy fool buttons and find out. I ain't finna mess around and find out, put it like that. So it was not easy for me to just choose my son at the time and just walk away, because I still was battling between, I love this fool, but I don't like how this fool is treating me. I love my son and I want my son here with me. I just don't want my son to be uncomfortable or feel scared in this situation. So the situation was out of my hand by the time it all boiled down to it. So like I told you, my son had been talking to people. My son had done told the school what was going on. He told my sister, Life of Tashana, what was going on. He wasn't making it no secret. He wanted me out of that relationship, and he didn't know how to do it. And so him walking and telling people what's going on, he told the right people, because things got to moving. How he knew how to tell people stuff, he just did it, you know what I'm saying? But when I tell y'all that little boy saved my life a lot of times, he saved my life a lot of times. He saved my life in that situation so many times or whatever. But I was a lost parent, you know what I'm saying? He my only kid. I have a godson or whatever, but my only birth child, my only experience that I have as a mother, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not making an excuse for the decisions or the things that happen in the relationship, because like I said, I was lost in the sauce. I didn't know whether to go left or right. This man telling me he'll do one thing if I leave him, and I got somebody else over here telling me that I can't get my child back unless X, Y, and Z is happening. And so I got so much coming at me at one time. It's like, I don't know what to do. I am in a tough spot. I'm homeless. I'm going through it with this man. I'm going through it with my child. Not in a bad way. Not that it's his fault. Just everything that's going on at this time is overwhelming me. And so I don't know. But all I knew was that I couldn't have this man. I couldn't have my child, because my child was not happy in this situation. So my son had vented to his auntie, and he told her how he felt about things and what he didn't want to do. And she followed through with his wishes. He did not want to come home with me because he didn't like the man that I was, he didn't want to go home to be around the crackhead. The crackhead had my son out there begging for money. I didn't find that out until after the relationship. So I had put my child in a bad situation, you know what I'm saying? So I take accountability, and I told this story already. This story is already, it's the crackhead story way back then in the videos and stuff. Just got to go and find it, but I've talked about this already, and it's more detailed in that video. So I'm just brushing across some things that I've already talked about in that video, but it's definitely on here. You ain't missing nothing. Just go back and find the video and catch up to what I'm saying. So my sister was watching my son while I work or whatever, you know what I'm saying? She was trying to help me out, and I thank God for her. She bared with me, even though I was a hot mess at the time. I couldn't see what everybody else could see for myself, but she seen, and she knew that I just had to go through this lesson, and when I come out, I'm gonna come out like a new shiny spoon. So she just bared with me. She prayed for me. She gave me advice, you know what I'm saying? She loved on me. She gave me tough love, and it worked, you know what I'm saying? Eventually I snapped out of it. I seen the light or whatever. So one day I went to go pick my son up from my sister, and when I was met at the door, I'm usually met with her and my son at the same time. This time I wasn't met with her and my son. This time she came to the door and she said, "Hey, we need to talk." And I'm just like, okay. So she told me everything that my son had expressed to her or whatever, and she said, "And I'm not gonna allow him to go back over there with you until you figure out what you're gonna do." She was like, "You are welcome to your son at any time. You can do whatever you want with your son. He just not gonna stay there until you figure out what you're gonna do. He'll stay here. You can come here and do whatever you need to do for him, but I'm not gonna let my nephew go back over there and be unhappy with the things that he's told me." And I'm just like, I just break down crying, because I already know that the situation I'm in is not a good situation for a child like that or whatever. Not even a good situation for me. But how can I argue against that when I know she's right? And then the fact that my son has expressed to her that he don't feel safe with going home with me is an issue for me. But at that moment, where this is where I'm talking about, it wasn't intentional, but I was stuck in a place where I don't know what to do right now. I got this issue with the crackhead going on. I got this issue with my son going on. I don't know what to do at this moment. So at this time, I'm not ready to let the crackhead slash narcissist go. So he is definitely a narcissist and a crackhead. So I may say crackhead a lot, but that's the name I gave him in the story back there for you to find or whatever. So I'm gonna say that a lot, but he is definitely a narcissist all at the same time. So so with that being thrown at me on top of the stuff that I got to go through once I get there, because now that I'm not bringing my son home with me, the crackhead is in an uproar because now he feels like everybody knows what's going on. So now he's, you know what I'm saying, he ain't scared, but he's like, he's going in his mind like, oh, what they gonna think about me now that when I come around and stuff, this, that, and the third. He was like, you need to get him back here. You need to get him back here, because he looking at the way that it makes him look. Because I didn't lie to him. I told him exactly why my son didn't come home with me, because he's just like, oh, where your son at? But me not knowing that my son is a money getter for you. That's the only reason why you want him to come back here. But any other time, when I'm around, he treats my son awesome. When I'm not around, my son didn't say he abused him or anything, but he has threatened him that if he didn't do things that he told him to do, far as panhandling and things like that, because he didn't do anything actual to my son or whatever. He just basically used him as a way to get money to supply his habit. Basically, that's what he was using my son for. So he would dress my son. My son told me the whole skilo, like, he made me put on like my raggediest clothes, and he would have me asking people for money or whatever, telling them we hungry, we homeless, and we got nothing to eat, and different things like that. And so times where I thought I used to go to work and he used to supposedly get my son off to school. He wasn't sending him to school. He was having him out there panhandling or whatever. And so basically, like I said, it wasn't an intentional, like, oh yeah, I'm choosing this man over my son. No, I was stuck in a hard place. Like, at this moment, if my son doesn't come back with me and I choose to leave this man, I still don't have a place to stay. I've already lived with my sister who's babysitting him before, you know what I'm saying? But I got too much going on. I ain't trying to bring this drama to nobody else's house. And at this point, the door is closed because we've done this. She's basically tired of people living with her. So, and I ain't mad at nobody who get tired of somebody living with them, because you want your own space back, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not even thinking about trying to go back there, because I'm the type that I like to fix my problems myself. I like to get back up on my own and not have a pity party or people, giving me handouts and stuff like that. I take them, but I just really like to do things on my own. Let me fix my own problems. So she hit me with I can't take my son home or whatever until I get my situation figured out. And that's when she'll release him to me. And so that decision is going to have to be me leaving this crackhead. But this crackhead ain't finna just let me, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to use the word not let me lightly, because still at the end of the day, the choice is mine. Nobody can hold you against your will, but people can throw threats at you that make you feel like you're stuck, and you're really not stuck, because then again, you really don't know. Because like I said, I didn't want to mess around and find out. I didn't want to play with him in those areas, because this man done already burnt me with cigarettes. He will literally start fighting me while I'm driving the car. So he showed me crazy things that, if he said I'll burn you with this cigarette, he's done it. He stood on his word. So if he made threats to me, I'm automatically going to assume and believe that he's going to do just what he said, because he's already showed me different things that he told me he would do. So that was why I agreed that, okay, yeah, let my son stay here while I go and figure things out. So I'm like, okay, maybe, because at this time I'm still trying to, the crackhead is still making me believe that I have some kind of control over his habit, and I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know no better. I'm thinking that, you know, oh, I pray for him a little harder, or I keep suggesting that let's go to these rehabs or whatever, that he's gonna get better. He's not. But I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? So I was steady going on this merry-go-round or whatever. And so once it happened, once I got back to, because we was living in a hotel at that time, but barely not, because after that, we were back in the car. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I could stay in a hotel, we stayed in a hotel. Whenever we couldn't, we was living in the car. So, and all of that is on here too. All the homelessness, everything, my whole story is on here. You just got to go back. It's a lot of videos, I know. But it's on here. So, like I said, I'm skipping around a lot of stuff because I've already talked about this. So, what I was saying. So when I get back to the hotel, I tell him about what just happened so that it might strike something up in him. Like, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and get my stuff together. But like I said, me not knowing that there's nothing I can say or do to make this man change. He's got to change on his own. And we talking about a hard drug here. He can't just say, okay, I'm going to quit. I'm done. No, he going to need some help with that. He ain't going to just stop like that. It's going to be some medical stuff that need to take place because that's a hard drug. So I go and I tell him about it in hopes that he'll be like, yeah, man, I ain't want you to get your son taken away because of my nonsense or whatever. Yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and get myself together, and voila, we'll be good. We'll be straight. It don't work like that. I was in fairy tale land thinking, believing him, basically. I was a newbie to the situation, but you know what I'm saying? I loved the man at the time, and so I really had, I seen potential in him, and that's what I fell in love with. So I ended up telling him about the situation or whatever, and he was just worried about how it makes him look now that my son can't come home with me because of him. So he's like, you need to get your son back. You need to get your son back. He need to be here with you, because if he ain't here with you, you're not going to be happy, and I don't want that on me, this, that, and third. And I'm just like, no, it is because of you, because of this nonsense that you keep putting me through. And I keep telling you about it, but you ain't listening to me or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I'm basically talking to the moon, because it's going in one ear and out the other, because all he thinking about is another hit. So what he's thinking about is, dang, man, you took my moneymaker away. Like, I need my moneymaker back here, you know what I'm saying? That's the only reason he wanted him to come back. But me not knowing that stuff is going on, I'm thinking, oh, he really do love my son. He, you know what I'm saying? He did see that. No. So whenever I am home and I have an off day or whatever, and we're around the house and everything, the narcissist, the crackhead, he would pick, he would like nitpick with my son or whatever all day long. But then when I would go to work, he was like, they were the best of friends, and like everything was good between them and there was no issue. But when I'm home, he always coming to find me to tell me, oh, you need to take his game from him because he been bad today. I told him to come in, he didn't come, and all kind of stuff. Just be lying. Okay, let's fast forward to the current the last one that I just got out of a relationship with a year ago. He would lie on my son too. He was jealous. He was very, very jealous. He even told me that I needed to stop cooking for my son once he turned 18. And I'm just like, so I'm going to stop cooking for my 18-year-old son to only cook for you? Ain't you a grown man too? I mean, you ain't my husband, but I'm just saying, everybody eat. When we in this house, everybody in the house gonna eat, baby. We ain't finna be no nitpicking about who gonna eat, because ain't nobody finna starve around me. So we not finna play with no food. If I'm finna cook dinner for me and you, I'm finna cook dinner for the whole house, baby. That's just me. If you feel different or you operate different, that's on you. But don't say things to me and then you don't even hold your end of the bargain, because then he'll go in there and cook and holler out, oh, you just need to be cooking for me. But go in there and cook a whole meal that nobody wants. And then get mad because I'm the only one eating it. I'm your girlfriend, so I'm gonna eat it because I don't want you to feel bad. You know what I'm saying? You went in there, you stood over the stove. I'm gonna eat the food. I'm gonna show my appreciation whether I like it or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just built that way or whatever. But he be telling me stuff, but he don't even hold his own bargain. So, I mean, one night I'm at work. This man called me with this whole story about how my son was disrespectful. At this time, my son like 16, 17, something like that. He 15, 16. He called me with this whole story about how my son home being disrespectful and yelling at him and just talking to him sideways. And I'm like, hold on, because I ain't raised my son to act like that. And I ain't never heard him take that tone with you ever. So let me call home and figure out what's going on. So I call home and check to see what's going on. My son is clueless. He like, Mom, what you talking about? We been in here chilling and laughing and kicking it. He said, me and him ain't got into it about nothing. He ain't told me to do nothing. He was like, I don't know what you talking about, Mom. He was like, but we good. He just... So then, after I get off the phone with him, he calls me back and he gonna tell me, just because I say something to you, every time I say something to you about your son, don't mean you gotta call him and say something to him. Well, what the hell you calling me and telling me about what he doing for if you don't want me to check him? Because I don't play like that. We ain't finna disrespect nobody. So why would you come tell me that he disrespecting you and he doing X, Y, and Z and he really not doing it? And then I go and I click on him and he clueless to what I'm talking about. So he like to start stuff between me and my son. He know me and my son got a tight, close relationship. He was trying to break it up every chance that he got. Oh, he ain't take that trash out. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff he made sense with and I agreed with him on. But other stuff that you just being petty with and it don't make sense to me, I ain't going for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you allow your kids to do certain stuff. I allow my kids to do certain stuff. Now, his parenting and my parenting are totally different. He allowed his child, his 8-year-old, 10-year-old daughter, to cuss him out on the phone, voice message, or when he answered the phone. She could be like, what up, MF'er? And he kick in and he laughing about it. But then want to tell me how disrespectful my child is. And I'm like, honey, my child don't talk to me like that. I wish she might pick up a phone and call me and tell us what's up, MF. But we don't play like that. See, me and you two different people. She 8 years old. She 10 years old. She a baby. She ain't no baby. Not using words like that. I tell my kids on the bus, if you cussing like that, what bills you pay? Please tell me what bills y'all pay around here. Quit cussing on my bus, because y'all don't pay no bills. Don't even know how to wipe your butt right. But you can cuss like a sailor. Cut it out. Don't talk like that around me. But your daughter can call you and be like, why the F you didn't answer your phone when I called you? Hold on, little mama. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm like, is that your daughter talking to you like that? Yeah, she cuss at me all the time. And you think it's cute? We are not the same, sir. But he want to tell me how to parent. But your daughter around here wholeheartedly cussing you out, disrespectful, like she your woman or something. Like you better answer her when she speak. Like you better say yes ma'am and no ma'am. That's how she talking to you, like she pays some bills. And I'm just a little bit confused. Like, sir, you... So that's how you raising her to talk to you? But I don't knock nobody parenting skills, because you raise your kids how you raise your kids. You got to deal with that monster you created later on down the line. Not me. But don't come over here talking about how I'm parenting my child. And you so far off with yours, but we ain't judging. I'm just saying. He can't tell me that it's just too many differences that he can't tell me nothing about being a parent, whether he older than me or not. He ain't in his right mind. He a narcissist to the 1,000th power. He won real bad. So, you know what I'm saying? He can't come over here and shut nothing down. And that was the problem. They wanted me to turn my back on my child so bad, but they probably could have got me in every area, but they couldn't get me in that area. So, because narcissists try to take everything good about you away from you to make you less valuable. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one thing I couldn't let. Now, I did allow him to separate me and to have me and my child separated while me and him were together or whatever. Was I happy in those days with my son being separated from me? Heck no, because my child been with me every day of his life except for that month that he spent separated from me. And trust and believe me, I was with my son every single day. I didn't miss a beat. we had a date, like a play date or whatever, or a fun day every Wednesday. But I went to see him every single day. Was not a day missed. So it wasn't like I just abandoned my child and I chose him over my child. No, I chose to live because I wasn't sure. This man done tried to take me out of here plenty of times. So I'm not finna play with it. I can't just walk away from him. You know what I'm saying? I could have, but I didn't know that I could. I felt stuck at that time. You know what I'm saying? But the narcissist was just, basically all I can say is the narcissist was jealous of my son and wanted me to turn my back on my child to please them. And then once I would have turned, if I would have fell for it and turned my back on my son, then he would have called me all kind of stupid and all kind of different things, only because I did what it is you wanted me to do. Like, oh, I could control you that bad, you that in love with me that you will throw your own son away for me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the type of games that they play. But you got to be, just know that if you're in that situation, there is a way out. You just got to pray for it. God to give you an out. But don't miss the out when he give it to you. Don't miss that opportunity. Because you prayed for it, he going to give you what you asked for. You know what I'm saying? It took me a minute. I kept asking for a way out. God kept giving them to me, but I kept missing it. So my advice to you is that if you've been in a situation where you did turn your back on your kids, or you did do something, the narcissist was able to, you know, swindle you out of something and is dealing with your kids, how I made the situation right is that I went and talked to my son. We had a conversation, and I make it where it's comfortable enough for him to come to me at any time and tell me how he truly felt about those days when he watched me go through it with these narcissists, and how he watched me have to fight this narcissist, how he was out there panhandling for the narcissist / crackhead and everything. We talk about that, but I made it a comfortable place for him. I was transparent for him to come and be open with me and tell me exactly the truth, whether it hurts or not. Still let your child tell you how they felt in the moment, because they were going through it. You were going through it too, but your kids were affected if they were around it. So in their mind, they see and feel certain stuff, and you see and feel different things. And to you, you might feel like, well, it was happening to me, so it shouldn't have a big effect on my kid. Yes, it does. It really does. And I didn't know how big of an effect that it had on my son until we talked about it. I apologized to him. I let him know, hey, listen, mama was not in the right mind at the time. I didn't know which way to go. You know what I'm saying? I kept it real with him. I was not making an excuse for myself because it was not right. I should have been strong enough to choose myself and my child. If my child is being, if it's my child on the line, that okay, you got to be separated from your child until you go and make a decision with this person over here. It should have been a no-brainer for me, but it wasn't. I had other things that I had to think about. Okay, yes, I want to be with my child, but this man over here is already ready to take me out of here. He ain't finna just let me be like, oh yeah, well, you know what? I just lost my son behind you, and so I'm finna go be with my son. And you think he gonna be like, ah, oh, man, yeah, go ahead and go be with your son then. He like, so what that mean? You just finna leave me here by myself? What am I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? And when the crackhead / narcissist didn't get his way, he want to fight. So I stayed fighting him. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot that my son had to watch and see, and things that he went through himself. You know what I'm saying? But you got to talk to your kids. Go back in. You can't erase what they've seen and what they've heard and what they've felt. You can't erase that, but you can give them the real you. Tell them how you was at that moment, because these kids are going to grow up to be adults, and they're going to go through these situations too. And so if you could tell them exactly, you know, be real about the situation with them, you could possibly be stopping your child from going through the same thing, because they seen where you were weak. they seen where you wasn't strong enough, and so now when they run across that problem, they, oh, I remember my mom went through something like this, so let me go ahead and walk away from this while I still got time before it get crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be transparent with your kids. But after them going through something dramatic just like you did, you need to talk to somebody, or, you know what I'm saying, you got to go through a period of healing. Your child got to go through a period of healing too. And so I made it a safe space for him to tell me exactly how you felt when X, Y, and Z happened. And then I tell him where I was mentally in that situation, only for him to understand I've always had good intentions for you, but I am a first-time mom. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? But now I see how I could have made the situation a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? And that worked for me. You got to find what works for you, but definitely have a conversation with your child or children about what they just endured with you. Because just like you are all discombobulated in the situation, they are too. They going through the depression. They're going through the emotional roller coasters of what if mom takes him back? Or, you know what I'm saying? I know he had to fear that so many times. Like, what if he come back around and my mom takes him back? With the crackhead / narcissist, him and my son actually went to blows. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the last straw for me. That, me fighting the crackhead every single day was not enough. I didn't care about that. But the moment him and my son fought, that was the straw for me. See, God gave me all of those other outs of the relationship. I should have took those outs. That's why I say, don't miss your opportunity to get out. Don't miss that flag. You know what I'm saying? Don't miss that moment to get out. Because the longer you stay, the worse it gets. It doesn't get better. And so for me, enough was enough when him and my son fought. Me and that man could fight every single day. I was ready. I stayed ready to fight. If he come to ask me for some money, I tell him no, and I get ready. I'm like, I'm telling you no, I don't got no $20 for you. I told you I'm not giving you no $20, so let's go ahead and fight it out. That's just how it got down to it. And I was cool with that every single day because I didn't back down. Whether I won or lost, he knew he was in a fight with me. I didn't back down. I don't back down. But it was cool for me and him to fight every single day. But the moment him and my son fought, that was a wrap. Sir, I am turned completely off. Yeah, this is a wrap for me. I can't, you know what I'm saying? But I should have been like that when all the other stuff was going on. But I was not, because this man made threats and he stuck to them. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to play with my life like that. You know what I'm saying? But still, I should have made a better decision when I got free. It was times I got away from him and I went back. We just keeping it real. I got away, but I went back. I was in love with potential. You know what I'm saying? And plus, when you in these toxic relationships, you do end up falling in love with the toxicity too. You really do, because you get used to it. You already know what they're going to do. You already know what they're capable of. And so you get so used to the toxicity that you start looking for it. And when you don't see it, you like, hold on, we doing something different now. Maybe we changing. No, we ain't changing. But I'm just saying that's how I handle, you know what I'm saying, after I got out the relationship and I had got a clearer head or whatever, I talked to my son about what we just went through, what we experienced and all that good stuff, just to make sure that he has a clear mind and that he actually knows too that what you just seen mama go through, that is not the way to treat a woman. You don't ever put your hands on a woman. You don't ever do the things that you seen him doing to me that made me cry or that hurt me. You don't do those things. Those are not healthy relationship examples, I guess, or whatever. So I went back in and tried to do a deep clean with my son, because I didn't want him to carry on those things that he seen men do to me, because I do know that kids tend to be a product of the things that they're around. And so I wanted to always make sure that If he seen me and him fighting or something like that, son, don't ever put your hands on a woman, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? I stayed doing that with him. You know what I'm saying? And it worked out, because now him as an adult, he told me, well, you don't never got to worry about me putting my hands on another woman. He said, I can't stand a man that put their hands on a woman, you know what I'm saying, and be ready to fight somebody if he know that they putting their hands on a woman and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So do what you got to do to protect your babies. You go in there, you talk to them, because they are going through it just like you are. You're not the only one suffering from this toxic relationship that you just been in. Just as well as your head all jacked up, theirs is too, because they've witnessed you go through these things, and they felt what you felt while they sitting here watching you cry and all that good stuff. So take your time, sit down, talk with your babies, and just see how they feel about the situation. And that's all I can really tell you to do, because that's going to start the healing process for the both of you. You be honest, tell them where you was in the situation, and then get their feedback on how they felt and what they thought you should have handled it how. You know what I'm saying? Y'all understand what I'm saying though, but I'm just saying, talk to your babies. If your kids have been with you around this toxic relationship, talk to them. You'll find out a whole lot more, and you can help them stay from running into situations like this in their lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So y'all have a great day. I love y'all. And he's in there playing with our chihuahua. That fool scream at everything. You ain't got to do nothing. He don't know how to when he playing with him, he don't know how to just regularly bark. So he scream and squeal. So ain't nothing wrong with the dog, y'all. He all right. He end up playing with him, but he just scary. That's the best way I could put it. He weird. He a little old dog, and he weird. That's what I call him, an old man. But yes, y'all have a great day. I love y'all. Fall in love with yourself, grow something, and hey, it's getting cold outside. So go get you a bowl of chili, some chicken noodle soup, or some chicken and rice or something, and stay warm, okay? Love y'all. Have a great day.